twist the copper with your pliers and double it over. Welcome to Simplified Sparky Marketing. I'm going to speak about online forums and what you should and shouldn't have on your online forums. So where this is stemming from is I've just created a carousel post on Instagram. And I said, fuck it, I'm going to need to speak more about this. So I have decided to make a really quick podcast on this just to give you some value and information. So I've tried and tested several websites. I think, as I mentioned before, I think I'm on to my 6th edition of my website, which I'm finally really happy with. And it took a lot of teething, a lot of years to wonder what actually works, what doesn't work. And what I figured out is you need just enough information on the forum to show they're serious. Where if you have too little information on the forum, you'll get every sort of tire kicker doing a submission. I've seen forums on people's websites where it literally says first name and email. That is horrible. The reason being is you're going to get all sorts of Joe So's just emailing. Maybe it might say underneath to tell us about your job. But the fact there's such little information to qualify them, you're going to waste your time dealing with those leads. Whereas I finally found a happy medium of what you should request on your form, just a very simple form. And I've gone through this on the Instagram post, and I'll actually link that below as well. The Instagram handle is below anyway. Drop us a follow, but there'll be more and more information popping up there for your electrical business. But what we want to get on the form is, on the very top of it, you can see in the Instagram post that there is urgency. Can't stress enough urgency. So mine says, get your online quote today. Now, even if you don't do online quotes, fuck it, put it down there. The reason being is they'll look at it and go, oh, yeah, brilliant. They get me a quote today. I'm going to submit my details. So as I said, even if you can't get to them today, maybe acknowledge it. If they send an inquiry, go, hey, we're super busy, can't get to it today, unfortunately, but look, we'll get to you tomorrow. But that will give them the urgency and the kind of just, if they think they're going to get it extremely quick, they're going to fill out that form extremely quick. Now, next up is first name and last name. Please get the second name. It's such a rookie thing to see quotes sent out to, in my example, on Instagram, it is Jim and Kudgy. And I've dealt with people like that. There's probably someone listening to this right now that I've grilled about it, where he's shown me his quotes and it's made out to literally Jim and Kudgy. And it just looks dog shit. If you come up against somebody else with a professional looking quote that's made out to Jim whatever and the full street address, Kudgy, it just looks far more professional. Also from a legal point of view, let's say shit hits the fan with the job, Jim doesn't want to pay. If you want to take Jim to court, it doesn't look too well on your behalf if the quote is made out to Jim and Kudgy. That could be any Jim and Kudgy. Yeah, get the full name, and the exact same thing for the job address. We want the full name, full job address on every single quote. And what I do is if they don't fill out the quote, when I'm about to pull the trigger on sending them the quote, I'll say, hey Jim, what's the full address for the job? We need it for the quote. Also, if they don't want to send it, what I like to do with the job address as well is I actually Google Street View 99% of the jobs that I do. I'll enter the job into the Google Street View. I'll Google the address essentially. And what this does is two things. If it is a standalone house, you can literally walk up and down the street and see if it's single brick, double brick, 2-story, single story. Can you get under the house? Can you get into the roof? Is there access down the sides? It is the ultimate hack to not going out and wasting your time on site. Secondly, if they've bought the house within 10 years, 15 years, there's most likely pictures of the house on domain when you Google the address. And as well, you can essentially go in, have a walk around the house, and it mightn't be, when you get there, it might be renovated. Like when the house was sold, it might be different, but at least you've got a gist of the walls, the rooms, the floors, the ceiling heights, anything like that. You can just get so much information from the address. So if you're going in blind and you're like, oh yeah, I think this or think that, it's almost like doing a site visit from your laptop or computer. It's just the way to do it. Now, email is a thing that is also overlooked. People they're like, stuff, but I've got his name and his phone number. He's called me up. I've given him a quote over the phone. I'm going to go do the job. He's going to pay me afterwards. Sweet. You need your email, the email obviously, to send an official quotation. And if there's any argument from them of, I don't want to give you my email, just state it is for your quotation, now somewhere to send it to. We have to send you the quotation. And don't accept sending it to their phone via text message or whatever. So your phone number, The phone number is obvious as well. It's just good that it shows they're serious, A. And then B is, again, I'm not a huge advocate of SMS marketing. I feel like you've got one or two up your sleeve each year to be used in a very appropriate time. Because I don't know about you, but when I get text messages from fucking spammy companies, it's very annoying because you do open them and it just pisses you off unless it's a really nice message offering you something. Then we have got the have you used us before field, where it is a new client, return client, or referral. You can add as many of these as possible as you want, but I've just got 3 to keep it super simple, get it filled in. We've got affiliate partners like EV charging companies, lighting companies that we could drop down. Have you heard from us from Beacon Lighting or whatever? We just kept it very simple because the more simplistic the form is, the easier it is to fill in and just less distractions. If you confuse, you lose. So yeah. And then we want what they actually want done, a field where they can fill in what electrical work they need doing. Again, the more this is filled in, the better the client is, the more detail driven the client is. Like you might get someone that might fill out a form that says, John, could you lights? And not all the time that's a bad lead, but odds are it is. If John cannot be asked to attach a picture, he cannot tell you more about it. There's exceptions. If John's filling that out at midnight, he may not want to call. He may be a caller that he just wants to get it through. Maybe he records a call the next day. But take it from me, from years of experience doing this, I notice when they don't fill out the fields on that minimal form, it's usually a shit lead that does not go ahead, or else they're price shopping. So that's from a vast amount of experience and forms that have been submitted. It's always flagged with me. If I don't see those fields filled in, I'm like, I smell a rat. Something's not right here. And then down the very end, we've got get your quote now. And again, that's my second point of urgency. Do not have submit on the form because it's just generic. It's shit. When they read get your form now, it emphasizes even more to pull the trigger. Up the top, they're seeing get your quote today. Down the bottom, they're seeing get your quote now. And that's just, again, it's like, fuck yeah, I want my quote today. I'm going to submit this. So that is my 2 cents on the form today. And I've trialed longer forms. I've asked several more questions. And I really think it deters people from filling out the form. It becomes overwhelming. They want to get their electrical quote as quick as possible. You have a form of 20 fields that they have to fill out. They're going to look at that, get overwhelmed. Maybe they'll start feeling, oh, fuck this, and move to the next website. So that is honestly the perfect happy medium. And I've said this to several of you guys I've been DMing and chatting to. Move your form up the top of your website. Move it right up the top of your website. When that page loads, you should be seeing your form at least with one tiny scroll of the finger. Your form should be there. So many of you guys, I'm seeing the form down the bottom, or you click on another link to take you elsewhere. Give them what they want. They mean business. If they're on your website, they're most likely looking for an electrician. Have it available that you can click it and fill out that form immediately once they land on the page, because a lot of people do not scroll past the top above the fold, we call it, on the website. They'll scroll 1 or 2 things, see if they like the look of you, what you offer, and they want to fill out the form. So move your form up the top of the page. If you're listening to this now and your form is somewhere, put it in your fucking diary to get onto your developer or somebody that can move your form up the top of the website. And you can thank me later when leads start flowing in. If you like what you're hearing, you like more of this, there is a ton of stuff over on Instagram. The handle is in the show notes below. Come across, shoot me a DM. Love to hear from you. If you have any marketing questions, I'd love to answer them. And yeah, give us a follow, rate, review the show, all that. There's also a little gift down the bottom, 9 ways in 9 days to improve your electrical business. The link is below.